Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Tier 5 British SPG, the Bishop. So is it any good? No, it's not. It's pretty terrible. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. It has 350 hit points, which is 1/3 more than the next highest hit point tank, being the French premium tank has 260, this has 350. The lowest has 210. Straight away that tells you that this tank is going to get shot a lot more than any other SPG, and yes it is. Whenever you see Wargaming giving you a high amount of hit points, it means you're going to get hit a lot. Now it weighs in at around 18 tonne, which is about average, and its speed of 24 km/h in forward and 10 in reverse is the slowest of all the Tier 5 self-propelled guns. The next slowest is the French premium at 28, and if we want to look at non-premiums, the Russian one does 30 km/h. So it's very slow, which is kind of a problem because this tank has very short range and it needs to follow the main line of attack. So it's probably more important that this one be faster than any of the others, but it's not. Anyway, it has a traverse speed of 22, which is pretty poor. The only one worse than that is the M41. Its turret traverse speed of 20 is average, and talking about the turret, well, the turret doesn't traverse, the gun traverses. The gun arc is very narrow, so you do have to constantly move if you need to re-aim, and so then of course you lose your aim when you traverse your tank. So yeah, it's the narrowest gun arc of any of the British SPGs. It's pretty terrible. The view range of 300 meters is the worst in class, and the signal range of 550 meters is the second worst, the worst being the French premium artillery. Camouflage wise, this is the worst of the bunch, except for the French premium one, which has far worse camouflage, but this one does have pretty bad camouflage, and principally you can see why. It's very, very high. It is well armored though. The chassis is actually based on the Valentine, so it's very, very tough. And the top here, which I don't know what you call it when it doesn't actually turn, we'll call it a turret for now. It has reasonable armor, not great, but reasonable, especially from the front. So you can actually take hits from some of the lighter scouts that come to get you. And it is useful because you kind of have to go TD mode because you're so close to the front line sometimes. Alright, it has a gun depression of, well, I'm not actually going to quote those stats anymore because I'm getting such ambiguous figures between Wiki Tanks and Tank Inspector that I'm not going to quote them anymore. All I'm going to say is that with the top gun, the gun arc is pretty low. Alright, so you don't get a high gun arc, so you can't really effectively shoot over buildings and rocks and things very well. It's similar to the Birch gun in that respect. The range of the gun is around 500 meters, or on the flat I think it's actually about 480, which is extremely short and is the shortest of all of the Tier 5 artillery. The next shortest will be the Grill with 840 meters, and then after that I think the French one goes to 990. All the others are above 1,000, well above 1,000. So you can see that the range is quite short. This means that you have to keep relocating to keep up with the battle all the time, depending on the map. If it's a small map like Ensk or Al Haluf, where everyone concentrates in a certain area, you can kind of get away with not moving around too much. But most of the other maps you have to follow, and that's why, because you're within 500 meters all the time, you do get spotted a lot. And you do, you know, if someone just happens to break through the front lines, they're right in front of you, and you find yourself having to go into tank destroyer mode and just drive it like a tank destroyer and just shoot at people because you're so close to the lines. If someone breaks through, they're right there. Let's have a look at quickly have a look at the grind for this tank. So you can see here, there's a lot of engines to get, and I went straight to the top engine. But look, it's very slow, and yeah, it's tragically slow with the first engine, which only has 135 horsepower. But even the top engine only goes up to 165 horsepower, and it really doesn't make a lot of difference. It's heavier as well, so you know it's pretty pointless. The radio, I think I went straight to the top radio as well as the engine because I've already got all these in my medium and heavy tanks and yeah, all the rest of it. The gun is fair bit of a damage upgrade from the birch gun. But with a top gun you only get HE. There's no other ammo you can use. Has 57 pen. Let's get that up a bit bigger. Penetration of 57 and average damage of 450, which is on the lowest side for a tier 5 SPG, but you know, it's okay. The 0.72 dispersion is accuracy is, yeah, it's not bad actually. It's pretty good for arty, pretty good. Aiming time of 4.5 is also pretty good. The rate of fire of 4.65 is not too bad either. So it's kind of okay in the gun respect, except for the arc being pretty low. That's about all there is to say about this one. You don't have a choice. You have to go close. You have to follow, or you will not be able to hit anything. Having a porous view range and poor signal range doesn't really matter too much in this tank, because you have to be so close to the front line. It doesn't really matter anyway. Let's have a quick look in Tank Inspector and then get into some gameplay. Okay, so let's have a look at the Bishop's armor in Tank Inspector. I'll go straight to the colorized view. You can see that the hull here, the what you might call lower glacis there, or just the front of the tank, is 60mm thick, as is this section here, also 60mm thick, which is quite strong. It is pretty flat though. This slope section here on the front is 30mm thick, and we'll look at the front upper area here is 51mm thick. There is also like a gun mantlet there, which is also 51, and the blue areas here basically spaced armor over the top. So frontally the tank is pretty strong. If we look at the side, the lower hull is 50, which is still quite strong. The upper turret area though is quite weak on the sides with 25 and 25 on the rear. The back of the tank is 17, except for this heavy strip, which is 60 right here at the back. So basically I have had situations in this where Panzer 1Cs and light sort of tier 3, tier 4 scouts have rushed up and started shooting into me, and even from behind only sort of like about 10 or 15% of the rounds actually penetrated. So it isn't too bad, and if you get front on to you know, some lighter tanks, if they're trying to get you, you can shoot them, and you can use it a bit like a tank destroyer. The only problem is that the traverse and speed of this tank is very, very poor, so trying to get your gun on somebody who's trying to circle you is really tough. You really just have to try and keep your front pointed at them long enough for hopefully somebody else to come and shoot them before they tear you to pieces. Okay.
Let's go.
The map is Prokhorovka. I'm in my tier 5 Bishop artillery, and it's a tier 5 game. Lots of tier 5 tanks and tier 4 tanks, and we have a couple of tier 3 arty. The enemy has no tier 3 tanks. That's a bit unfair. Anyway, I have to be close to the front line to do anything, so I decide to head towards the town. As you can see, the speed limit, it will do the 24 top speed on the flat, but not real good. And down a hill it does about 26. Doesn't change much. So I pick a spot back here, and as you see, my range maxes out there. So the range, I said, I think the official on the flat's about 480, depending on, you can get more range out of it if you're elevated. So if I was up on the hill on the right there, I'd be able to shoot further because I was elevated. Or some people reckon if you like get onto an upward slope of a hill, then you can shoot further because you're sort of pointing, your gun's pointing higher. I did try it in a game, I didn't really notice that much difference. Alright, so we're aiming for this M4 here. Trying to predict his movement of fire. And he moved out of our way, unfortunately. Now you can see there my aim, I lost my aim there because my tank had to turn. So you don't have that problem on the birch gun. He's getting out of my range, so I just fire anyway because he's now beyond my range. Just fired on the chance that he decided to come back forward or something. He's the only visible target at the moment, so I don't want to risk moving forward at the moment to get him. He back there is not too much of a threat anyway. And I can, if he decides to come up towards the hill, I can reach him, as you can see there. But there is an issue of just how close to the front line do you get. Alright, T40 would be a good one for us to hit. He's an open top.
That was close.
Oh, we were close. So I think we probably may have done some damage or a crit. When it says that was close, it usually means you've done some splash damage. But it doesn't show up until the end of the game. I decided to destroy that building there, just so that my teammates will be able to spot this T40 again. But he's come around from behind the building anyway. So this time we get a good shot.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
And destroy. Unfortunately, he only had 4 hit points left, so we won't get a lot of XP for that. T28 on full health, yep. Love hitting T28s.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Oh, one shot killer, full health T28. That was very nice. Okay, that's where Artie's fun, when you can do stuff like that. So yeah, T28, lightly armoured, medium, tier 4 with plenty of hit points. And we have a 450 max damage, so yeah, just devastated that tank. I fire at the M8 there and I quickly move to this tank. It's more of a threat. I really want to get rid of this guy. So that said, that was close, but some damage did actually flash up, 74 damage. So splash damage, I think. He's stationary, so hopefully he stays stationary. Oh, hit him in the side. Nice. There's a KV-1 you can see down the bottom there heading towards him. I'm a little bit worried about him, but I won't be able to do that much damage to the KV-1, so I'm only going to shoot at him as a last resort. His armor's a bit good for me. His headset would be nice though.
That was close.
Oh! See, that one too is just splash damage. Didn't actually directly penetrate it, but still did quite a bit of damage even with splash. Waiting for reload. Now the reload would be quicker with a fully trained crew. I should mention my crew is not fully trained. My crew is at around about, or somewhere between 85 and 90% in this game. So obviously with a fully trained crew, the aiming time will be quicker, the loading time will be quicker, the accuracy will be better. So even though I said this tank isn't any good, it will be better than this if you properly train your crew. Oh, another good shot. Gee, we're having a good game. 4 kills. Now, I didn't notice this as I was sort of concentrating, but the enemy is capping and they're up to 68%, 69%. They've got 3 people in the cap zone. Trying to predict his movement and hopefully get him to run into one of my shells. That was pretty close, I think. Sorry about the phone, and I really should be concentrating the cap here because I'm not watching. They've basically capped. I fire at this Panzer IV on full health, and we miss him. End of the game. Okay, so unfortunately we lost that game because the enemy capped, and I didn't feel confident about driving into the cap on my own with 3 enemy tanks in there. So, and I kind of wasn't paying attention properly either to see the cap during the game. So anyway, but we did very well, I think. So, looking at that, we were top for XP on our team, and we were top for damage out of both teams actually, by quite a bit. So yeah, we were definitely the top dog in that game. And so we can see we fired 17 shots, 4 of those were direct hits, and we also had 4 that were splash damage. The enemy vehicles damaged 4, destroyed 4, really good there. It was 779 damage in such a short time was great. And we one-shotted that T-28, and we did quite substantial damage to some of those other tanks. So that was good fun. The XP, raw XP was only 275, which is pretty crummy, but we did lose, I guess. Income-wise, 16,000. The shells aren't cheap like they were on the Birch gun, so 4,250 is still not too bad, but we would have made a profit of about 12,000 if it wasn't for this reward here. Next game.
Move out.
In the Bishop again, and it's a tier 6 game this time, which will be a bit tougher, and there's a lot more heavy tanks, although their top tanks are mediums. Anyway, with this particular map, generally don't have to reposition too much, because usually it's somewhat predictable where people are going to go, and they pretty much have to go across the bowl at some stage. So as long as I get into a position where I can shoot into the bowl, I shouldn't have to relocate too much. Now once again, I'll just remind you, in case you skipped the first game, that my crew is only around about somewhere between 85 and 90% trained. So accuracy, loading times, and aiming times will be quicker with a fully trained crew. So there's Cromwell there. I did fire straight away and missed, just took a shot. M5A1 Stuart would just about explode if I can hit it. Hopefully still there.
They're knocked out.
Yep, one shot kill. Good way to start the game. He will be probably cursing. He was hiding in a bush, so I don't know who spotted him, but I can certainly relate to being hit by Artie while you're hiding in a bush. That's not much fun. These guys are almost at the limit of my range. See there, it's saying 513 meters. Now, I did say the maximum range of this gun, I think, is actually meant to be about 480 on the flat, or up to 500 maybe. Ooh, oh, didn't quite hit him, so I only got 60 damage. Yeah, but the reason I'm getting more than 500 meters is because I'm on top of a hill. So I'm getting more range. The other way of getting more range, that was a better hit, is by apparently putting your tank on an upward slope so that your gun is pointing up higher. But I've tried that and I haven't really noticed any difference. But some people seem to swear by it, so I don't know. Maybe it can be done. You can see there I'm looking straight across the bowl, and my range is nowhere near as long because that's the same height as where I am. Alright, KV-1. Don't often do a lot of damage to KV-1s because their armor's pretty good, especially since he's front onto me. If I try and hit the back deck is what I want to hit. I'm waiting just for reload now. Here it is. So I predict he's going to keep moving back, and he does. And we do a bit of damage, and it's a crit, so we might have tracked him. So it's worth getting another shot into that spot if he is tracked. Hopefully he didn't have a repair kit. So we'll let another shell go. Nah, he's not there. That KV-1 is out of my range. There's my max range where that line is now. So I think he might be coming through space, so I'm just going to fire into it. I let a shell go. Just letting to see if it hits anything. It doesn't, so I'll move away somewhere else. Okay, the Commonwealth's back up. Proving to be a bit elusive, this guy. Now I'm just sitting here, my gun is now loaded. I'm just waiting because I don't want to just fire anywhere. It's a bit hard to hit. I want to wait till he pops up like that and then shoot at him.
Critical hit.
Oh good, we got him. So if I know somebody's, because he's getting spotted every now and then, so I figure like he's gone off again. If I just wait, hopefully whoever's been spotting will spot him again and I can nail him. I see now that the KV-1 is in the cap, so we need to do something about that, and he's threatening our Churchill 3. So we need to back him up.
hit.
Managed to get a hit. That's a small hit though. Now I do this wrong thing here. I really should have hit that Type T-34 because it was coming around to get the Churchill 3. But the KV-1 was stranded. I thought he hasn't got much health. I was hoping to get rid of him. And as it turns out it did. So it worked out alright. Churchill gun carrier has terrible armour but a very good gun. And he's punishing our Churchill 3. I'm waiting for a reload. I fire and... oh, somebody else hits him. T-28. We love T-28s. Can we get the shot into him? Oh, he's already getting hit. And, oh, someone kills him before our shell lands. Darn it. Because a T-28 is a one-shot kill for us in many times, so unfortunately we didn't get to fire. See if we can get rid of this Cromwell. He's very elusive.
Critical hit.
Oh, another hit into him. Can we finish him off? So you can see so far I haven't had to relocate, although you can see there my traverse, my gun lost its aim because of the very narrow traverse arc on this tank. Okay, the Hellcat is capping, so we need to get a shot and someone else has already killed it. So let's move back now to where that Cromwell was. There he is. Can we get the killing blow in? Now, enemy artillery has been spotted, and if I had long range artillery I would go for it straight away, but with this artillery I've got no hope of hitting their arty, so there's no point in even looking at it. Cromwell's back up. I really want to get rid of this Cromwell because it's spotting for their team. So I fire here, hoping I'll get him here. Oh, I miss. Frustrating. Because he's pretty much crucial at the moment. If we can get rid of him, then no one further back will have shots on anyone. I won't be able to see anyone. So I'm just patiently waiting for him to reappear. I might speed this up to 2 times because it's at 2 times now. Oh, back to normal speed because we've moved. So I'm turning right around now. You can see there we've turned. I fired straight away. Oh no, I didn't fire straight away. I fired now.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
And we managed to get the killing blow of 74 damage on the KV-1. Someone else hit it just before us. But we probably wouldn't have been able to kill it anyway. It's hard to do a lot of damage to KV-1s. So I'm back to where the Cromwell was. I'm hoping this KV-1 is moving up down the bottom there will spot the Cromwell for us. Ah, Cromwell has moved way over here and he's out of range of my gun. And he's their last tank. It looks like we're going to... So I've got to relocate if I want to have any chance of getting a shot on him. So I'm doing just that. So this will give you a chance to see what the speed is like downhill. And we've hit 27 kilometers per hour. 20, I think we just touched 28. So you can see the... it's not fast. Doesn't seem to make much difference whether on the flat or downhill. It doesn't change that much. I can't believe they haven't killed him already. So let's aim in, see if we can get a shot. We've got our Panzer 3-4 behind him, so he's not long for this world, this Cromwell. Oh, he killed our Panzer. He's a pretty good player, this guy. He's on 8 kills, no wonder.
Critical hit.
Oh, we get a hit on him, Mo. Gee, he's got 8 kills for his team, wow. That's a Radley Walters medal, good on him. What's his name? Hedetto. Sorry, Hedetto, to end your run, but you had a Radley's anyway. That's the end of the game. Okay, so not too bad a game in a tier 6 game. We managed to get a class 2 in that one. I didn't bother getting my master in this because I didn't really enjoy it that much. Yeah, so I didn't play that many games in it. We did do pretty well in that game though. We were hitting some heavily armoured tanks, and you can see that the Cromwell being a a higher tier than us, the medium armour on the Cromwell is actually not too bad, and it does withstand the HE shells a lot better than, say, the tier 4 T28, for example. Let's get onto the next screen, and we can see that we finished third for experience, and damage wise I think we finished second on our team for damage. The KV-1S was higher with 1400, but 1303 was pretty darn good. On the opposition team, you can see the Cromwell here did over 2000 damage and 8 kills. Wow. Awesome job, Hyde Eto. Awesome job, mate. Now let's have a look. Next screen. Shots fired 24, 10 direct hits and 1 splash damage. Gee, I think most of those misses were on the Cromwell. Damage 1303, and enemy vehicles damaged 5, destroyed 4. Bit of assistance damage, which is probably some tracking. 28,000 income. 6,000 spent on shells, which is a fair bit really, so we would have still made 22,000. That would have been alright. There was a mission reward as well though. Raw experience of 693 gives you a class 2, which would tell me that you probably need to get about 900 would probably be mastery, I think. Probably reasonably difficult to get for me, I think. Or with a fully trained crew, maybe it wouldn't be too bad. That's it. Thank you for watching my review of the Bishop. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.